Okay, this is my video presentation for SNUG202. So my statement topic was working construction is associated with respiratory illness. My research question ended up being, does being a construction worker increase the risk of having respiratory or the risk of respiratory illnesses? Then the PICO framework, the population intervention comparison and outcome. So my PICO framework, for my population group, I chose construction workers. For my intervention, I chose respiratory illnesses. For my comparison, I did not a construction worker. And for my outcome, is it associated? For my alternative words, I used tradesman, labourer, construction labourer, boot and blue-collared worker. For my respiratory illnesses, I chose respiratory disease, respiratory disorder, lung disorder, and lung illness. For not a construction worker, I put in a non-handler and a non-operator. And then for my outcome, is it associated? I put down for the at-risk, related, or at jeopardy. For my research ready phrases, I have construction workers in quotation marks, so it searches it together rather than away. I didn't want construction and then workers as a relative term. Then at tradesman and labourer, I kept as is. I then have construction labourer in quotation marks, so it searches that together as well. Along with blue-collared worker, I want that together searched as well. Then for my intervention for respiratory illnesses, I have that obviously in quotation marks along with respiratory disease, respiratory disorders, and lung illnesses because I didn't want them searched and getting a range of different illnesses, disorders, and diseases that weren't related to respiratory illness or issues. For my comparison for not construction worker, I use non-handler and non-operator to be searched together rather, or like the words together rather than apart because it can come up with different research phrases. And for my outcome for is it associated, I have at risk, related, and at jeopardy as well together so it doesn't come out and search separately. For the databases I use Scorpius and Medline. Okay, so we'll head on and do that. So what we do is we go to the UOW library website. We then head down to library guides. We then go to browse A to Z databases. I'll start with my Scorpius search first. So I'm going to press the S here at the top of the page. What we do then is we scroll down until we find our Scorpius. It will be in alphabetical order. So there is our website that we want. We'll just click on that. And that'll take us to our page. Now, perfect. So this is where we'll start. So we'll go back and we'll use our key ready phrases where I want my construction worker. And I'm just going to copy that one and pop it into our search documents. So again, that's all the same as what I had before with my ors popped in. I'm just going to do a couple spaces there and we'll search that. Perfect, we come up with 24,007 searches. We're then going to use our respiratory illnesses. And again, it's all the same again when I pop in. What we'll do is we'll add a search field. I'll then pop this through. Again, all the same as what I've used before. And we'll search them now together. Okay, we come up with 117 documents found. What I'm going to do is I'm going to limit that again because 117 is still quite a few we go. So we're going to limit that to 10 years. So I'm going to do 2014. Okay, and we're going to pop that through, which automatically brings us down to 50 documents. I'm also going to do an article. I'm also going to pop it in English. We'll limit that. Okay, so we get 43 documents. Perfect. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to do an advanced query. Yeah, and that shows us all of the things we popped through. Now I'm going to scroll down and we're going to pop through and find what our most relevant search is. Perfect. Work-related respiratory health conditions among construction workers, a systematic review, along with health impact assessments of particulate matter population, pollution, from construction sites. Amazing. So now we're going to head back and we're going to go back to the library website and browse A to Z. Now I'm going to use my Medline search. So I'm going to head to M. I'm going to scroll down again, go to Medline. Okay, perfect. And now we're in Medline. So again, I'm going to pop back and I'm going to do my construction worker. I'm just going to copy all of that and pop that through to our search field and press search. 3,218. Perfect. And now I'm going to get rid of all of those and I'm going to search our respiratory disease. Search. Perfect. And that comes up with even more. So now we're going to go to my search history. We're going to click on both of these and we're going to search with or, so I get all of the alternate researchers. Okay, so we have quite a few. So now I'm going to limit my sources. I'm going to limit it to 2014 again. We're going to do 2015 probably. We'll do that. And then academic journals. I'm going to limit it there again for an advanced search. And I'm going to click a systematic review and we'll search it that way. Perfect. Now I have 1,000, which is quite a few, but at least we have the most quality evidence available. So now we'll scroll down and find what sanitary workers, a systematic review and meta-analysis. Yep, exposure to outdoor particulate matter and risk. Scroll through. Work-related respiratory health conditions among construction workers. Perfect. So we'll pop back through. So the article I chose was the work-related respiratory health conditions among construction workers, a systematic review. So how I know this represents a high level of standard because it was a systematic review. It's the highest standard on the evidence pyramid for research other than a meta-static review. So I picked the systematic narrative review. So my reflection, my description, over a series of searches, I used the Gibbous reflective cycle. So over a series of researches, keywords and filters, I found an article with a high standard of evidence. So work-related respiratory health conditions among construction workers, a systematic narrative review, had 9 citations and it was from the BMJ Open Respiratory Research. Feelings, I was very pleased by the overall amount of relative systematic reviews I received in my search. Across the 2 databases, I received 20 relevant systematic reviews for this topic, which made me relieved to know I was on the right track for my research. For my evaluation, it went well. I did receive those 20 systematic reviews. However, what I found was a bit of a struggle is that my searches weren't necessarily relevant to my question. I still had to sit through and sift and scroll through my search to find the most relevant pieces of information, even though I used my filters. For my analysis, the factors I definitely contributed to my research was the alternative words. Some were incredibly helpful. Others added to a lot, made my search limited in regards to how many things were coming up that weren't relative, such as when I used the word associated. My conclusion, what I learned during this search assessment was the importance of quality research in regards to the most relevant and most evident amount of research. Instead of using Google and not knowing whether a website's information and author was a reliable source. And then for my action plan in the future, I think I would like to use more scientific terms and systematic reviews, especially with my alternative words. They help me find more reliable evidence, along with maybe not having as many alternative terms. During my practice search, I think I overloaded the database with how many I had. And then that's my bibliography.